I've given you the recording access as well. So let's start. Okay. So,
Jigar, in case if you don't give the recording access for those down the line after some fifth session or somewhere, will you be giving us the step-by-step kind of thing?
Documents? Yes, definitely. I would be giving you the step-by-step screenshot documents and also the PPTs and also the SAP document also, as I told you before, everything I would be giving you, whatever I'm telling you would be documented over there.
The step-by-step, if the step-by-step is from your server or whatever you do now, it will be good for us actually. It will be more informative to us.
Sorry, I didn't got you.
No. If at all you are able to give us a step-by-step kind of document from the real-time environment, then it will be good for us. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, real-time environment only from the whatever I have created, the step-by-step document while implementing projects for the customer. Okay. That particular document only I would be sharing with you.
Okay. No, thanks.
Okay then. So let's start for the day. So till yesterday we discussed about the deployment approaches. Okay, so there are 3 deployment approaches wherein either where we can play around with the IWBP, IWFND and the GW core. But for Fiori, for the standard Fiori applications, the the IWBP should always be present onto the backend, and IWFND and the GW core should be present onto your front-end NetWeaver gateway. So apart from the foundation components, there are some more components that would be required. So as of now, whatever we have discussed, these were the foundation components that would be required. That is the GW core, IWFND, IWBP. These are the foundation components. Apart from the foundation component, as we have discussed before, for every Fiori application, there would be a product-specific UI add-on, and there would be a product-specific OData add-on. So you need to install, or you need to have that particular stuff as well onto your system. So for every Fiori application, apart from the foundation component that we have discussed, definitely that would be required for all the Fiori application to build the environment. But apart from that, for every Fiori application, 2 more add-ons would be required. One would be the product-specific UI add-on, and other would be the product-specific OData add-on. So let's discuss where this add-on would be present and how we would come to know for the different types of application what exactly is the add-on required and what is the dependency of that add-on on the different environmental setup. So let's drill down into that particular thing into a bit more detail. So just a moment.
Jigar, quick question.
Yeah. Yes, Niranjan.
If I'm recording this, where exactly will this be saved?
Once the meeting is ended, then it will ask you that the Zoom is trying to convert the recording. So it will take some time, whatever is the duration of the session, according to that will take some time. And then it would be stored inside the C drive, inside the documents folder. There would be a folder created called as Zoom. Okay. Automatically it will get created. And inside the Zoom folder, the recording with the today's date would be stored.
Okay.
So yeah, so let's move ahead. So first, let's discuss what exactly do you need to install onto your backend. So apart from the foundation components, that is the IWBP, you would require an SRA, that is the functional component, that is the OData component to be precise, that needs to be installed onto your backend. So for, let's say if you want to install, if you want to configure approve purchase order standard Fiori application, then definitely IWBP onto your backend should be there. But apart from that, onto the backend server, you need to install an SRA, which would be required for that particular Fiori application. We'll see later on in today's session only what exactly is the SRA that would be required for a Fiori application, and how would you come to know what are the different SRAs or what are the different components that would be required for the Fiori application. But as of now, just remember that apart from the IWBP component, that is the foundation component onto the backend, an SRA, which is nothing but an OData integration add-on, which needs to be present for every Fiori application onto your backend. Onto the front end. Now, onto the front end, definitely the GWFND, IWFND component should be there. These are, I mean, either the GWFND or IWFND and GW code, these components should be there. But apart from that, OData integration, UI, product specific UI add-on should also be present onto your NetWeaver gateway. So for every Fiori application, there would be an UI add-on apart from the foundation component that should be present onto your NetWeaver gateway. So now what happens, most of the times also this happens that, let's say there are 5 Fiori applications that you want to implement. So onto the backend, you will implement 5 SRAs. You need to install 5 SRAs, which would be required for all the Fiori applications. And also the front end also, you will have to install 5 UI add-on, which would be having the source code or the UI code for that 5 particular Fiori application. But nowadays, what SAP is doing is they are coming up with a package. So it might happen that one UI add-on will actually serve the purpose for you for 5 or 10 Fiori applications. So rather than installing 10 separate installations onto your front-end server, you can just, there might be some scenario wherein you can just install one, and that one UI add-on will take care for the source code of 5 or for 10 Fiori applications. So it can happen like that. But usually, as of now, most of the time what happens for every Fiori application, one UI add-on and one backend add-on, that is the OData add-on, needs to be there.
Well, is it my problem, or is the voice clear for others?
Ramani, Isha, is there any problem?
Yeah, no problem. Clear, yeah, clear only.
Okay.
For me also it's clear.
Okay, Niranjan, can you just check your
Maybe
network
you
speed?
can try reconnecting.
I'll check it. No issues. Carry on, please.
Okay. Is it negotiable, or is it very worse? I mean, how is it? Can you at least hear it?
I can, but there's a lag. I think it's because of my internet connection. I don't know. But yeah, please carry on. Just in case if there's something wrong, I'll get the recording. But for now, yeah, please carry on.
But Niranjan's voice is very clear for me. There is no lag at all.
Okay. Probably my internet problem.
I mean, it might be some problem from his side, not an issue. So if any point you're not able to understand, just let me know if you're not able to hear, if it's worsened out. I can repeat that particular statement, not an issue. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me take you to the system now. So now what happened? Okay, one important thing. Okay, so now the system that we are going to have for practice is going to be an embedded system. Okay, so one single system wherein the backend components also would be there, and also the front end also components would be there. So basically, this type of architecture is what we are going to have for the practice. But then when we are going to implement and when we are going to do the configurations later on, we'll definitely do the practical on top of this for the embedded deployment. But parallelly, we'll also discuss if there might be any changes in case of the central hub deployment approach, if you're, if that is what you're implementing for the customer. So we'll discuss both of that, but practically what we are going to implement is going to be onto the embedded system. So onto the embedded system, what will happen, the IWBP, SRAs, IWFND, or GWFND, UI component, everything would be present onto a single system. But if it's a central hub deployment, then what will happen onto your backend server? You will have the foundation components and the UI component, and onto the backend server, you will have the IWBP component and the SRA, and onto the front end component, you will have the related GW core and IWFND component and the UI component. So let me take you to the system. You will get the system access by tomorrow, most probably. You will get it by tomorrow for sure. So let me just take you to the system and let's see how we can check it out. What are the different SRAs and what are the different UI components that are already there onto the system. So let me just open it up. Okay, so I'm onto my embedded system. So over here, if you go into the system tab and you see the status, so you will come to know that it's an EHP7 of SAP ERP system. And on top of that, even the GW FND component is installed. So it's having the version 7.4. So I do not have to install the separate, GW core and IWBP and IWFND. Apart from that, I will just install one SAP GW FND component. That's it. It's a foundation component which will take care of all the, sub packages inside this. That is the IWBP, IWFND, and GW core, whatever is required. So GWFND is present. So this component will actually make this backend system start acting as an start acting as a NetWeaver gateway as well. So now my backend, since it's an embedded deployment scenario, so now my backend will also act as an NetWeaver gateway over here. So over here, we should be able to see both that the SRA component for every Fiori application, whatever is there, whatever we want to configure, and also the UI component. So if we just go down a bit, we'll see some of the SRAs which are already installed. Okay, so you can see, there are many SRAs for different applications. So you can see SRA 01 for approving purchase contract application, SRA 02 for time recording OData integration component. So for you can see that this SRA is related to OData integration component. For every Fiori application, there would be an SRA. Similarly, there is the UI component you can see. So UI for ERP central application, UI for retail operation store, UI for travel applications. So there is this UI component also present over there. Not only the UI component, but also the corresponding SP level is also taken care about over here. So over here, you can just check it out. What are the what are the components that are present over here. So once the components are present, then you can go ahead and then you can do the configuration, and then you can bring the standard Fiori application in picture onto the SAP Fiori Launchpad. So now the most important question that might be popping up into your mind, that how will you come to know how you will be setting up the architecture before before you go ahead and configure the Fiori application, because every Fiori application might have a different UI add-on requirement, might have a different OData integration add-on requirement, or might have a different, the backend enhancement pack requirement. So some application might work on EHP7 of your backend, or some application might work on only EHP5, or some application might work on only the NetWeaver gateway version 7.40 and above. Some application might be able to work, on the lower version as well, that is the 7.31. So what exactly is the place where you can get all this information? So basically, there are two important places where you can get all of these information in a very crisp and in a very efficient way. So let's check out that particular places. So first, let's check it out. Let me just open my Google Chrome. Okay. So the first place is the help.sap.com/Fiori. So when you type in this, you will get this particular page, and over here there is one tab that you will, one link that you will click on, that is the SAP Fiori apps. So when you click on SAP Fiori apps, and when you click on this app catalog, so whatever Fiori applications that are present would be listed down over here. Complete all the Fiori applications and the corresponding backend and the front end versions. So we'll just, let's say if we want to implement approve purchase order. Okay, so I can just go over here, click on this particular link, approve purchase order, and the corresponding information for that. So you can just see that this is a transactional app, and you can just see some of the features. What are the features of this particular application? What you will be able to achieve with the help of this particular Fiori application. And this is the system landscape requirement. So you can see that the backend ERP 6.0 would be required with SPS 15 or higher. So any of this one requirement should be satisfied by your backend product. That is either this enhancement pack or ERP, whatever. At least one of these should be satisfied by your backend before you go ahead with the implementation of this particular product for this particular Fiori app. Apart from that, if you just see in the app implementation, so there are 3 important sections apart from this, apart from the system landscape requirement, that is the app implementation. So if you click on the app implementation for this particular approved purchase order, you will get some more information, that is the backend and the front end add-on that you will have to install. So you can see that this is the backend add-on that you will have to install onto the backend onto your backend server. So this is the name of the add-on, GVAPP02600, and this is the support package level which needs to be maintained onto your backend. Similarly, onto your front end, this is the front end component that you will have to install with the corresponding support package level. Not only that, but also there are some nodes which you'll have to implement. So over here you will get the information about the nodes as well. So you can see for this particular application, apart from the backend and the front end component, some nodes also needs to be installed. So you can just click on this particular patch and you will see some of the nodes that needs to be installed by the basis consultant for the application to work smoothly. So let me just open one of the nodes for you. So it asks for the S user ID and password. So let me just enter the S user ID and password. Okay, so you can see some of the nodes over here. So let's say if you are implementing UIX01 EAP 100, and the SP08 version if you are using of this particular front end component, then you will have to install this particular node as well, because there is some issue with the you can see the description over here. So there is some issue. So sorry, if you're implementing the SP07 version, then you have to install this particular node. But in the SP08, if you're going for the SP08, then you do not have to implement this particular node, because this particular node is automatically taken care by the SP08. So if you see over here, the front end, the available support package level as of now onto the marketplace is 7. Okay, so it is 7. So definitely you will have to implement the following node as well. But in the SP08, which will be released very soon by the in the service marketplace, then at that point of time you're going to have to implement this node. But on top of SP07 version, this is the node that you will have to install. Apart from this, this is for the front end component. For the back end component also, you can see if you're implementing the SP09 of the back end component, then these are the 3 nodes that you will have to configure, that you have to install. Basically not configure, but the guy will have to apply this patch or this nodes onto the backend systems. But on the SP10, in the SP10 version, this particular node will be automatically taken care of. But as of now, only SP09 is available in the marketplace. But in the SP10, this particular node will be taken care of. But in the as of SP9, these are the 3 nodes that you will have to apply. So this is one of the places where you can get the complete information related to the setup of the application. That is the infrastructure requirement.
Jigar, I have a question.
Yeah.
So what is the support pack that's on the test system that we have?
On this test system, the support packs along with the SP nodes, everything are kept installed by the basis people. So what we are going to focus more on is the configuration part. So as of now, we are just studying the architecture. I guess on the test system for this particular,
where can we check that basically?
I mean, the same way, the status where I showed you just right now.
Okay.
If you click on the status, if I just take you back again, let me just take you back. So if you see over here, in the status.
Right.
Okay, so in the
Yeah, that's good. But where does it show that it is?
yes, I will show you. So over here, the SP level. And we're getting it.
Yeah, I get that. Let's look at that one example that approve apps UI SP level.
So X01 EAP 100. So 0.6 is the version that is applied.
Right. So this one doesn't have that whatever node that we are talking, right? Or the basis they installed it on this system as well.
Yes, the nodes would be installed because this particular application, approved purchase order application, is working perfectly fine.
Okay.
So that means that the nodes is applied. The nodes are applied. So what might happen, 0.06, when there might be a 0.06 SP level version, so there might be some different nodes.
Right.
That might have been applied by them, and then that node might have been taken care in the SP07. But now in the SP07 also there are some more nodes available which would be which needs to be applied and which would be taken care of in the SP08. So as and when the customer, whenever they come up with some problem, so rather than straight away releasing a note, rather than straight away releasing an SP level, they come up with a note, and when the note number increase by to let's say 20 or 25, whatever might be the number of nodes that increases, then they come up with an SP level, and then they release that SP level on the service marketplace, and then you can just upgrade your current SP level to the latest SP level. So this is how basically it happens. So rather than just installing the SP level, the basis guy will also have to take care, to apply the corresponding nodes, and all that information. The main focus point is all that information you can get onto this help.sap.com/Fiori.
Where is this ERP 6.0 or ERP? What is the ERP system version? That's one.
For this particular Fiori application,
Yeah.
you can see. So these are the the different version that should be there. So any one of this should be satisfied. Any one of this should be satisfied.
Okay. The one that we have, the test system, is that ERP 6.0.
That is EHP 7. This is this.
Okay.
It's EHP 7. The latest one we are having. 6.0 EHP 7. Announcement pack 7.
Okay. Yeah, thanks. And you are saying the name of the app as GB_app_002, right? But
it's not name of the app. It's name of the component.
Right. And on the name of the component is GB app, but when we look at the technical components in the backend system, it should be SRA, right? Why is it GB app, the technical name?
No. It can be SRA. For most of the application, it is SRA, but this is a special application. For this, it's a GB app. So if I show you, there would be a GB app as well installed. So it's a name. It's basically a name. So over here, most of the time there is SRA, but this is a specific thing. Over here, they have given the name as GB app. So if I just show you into the G, so you can see GB app. Okay, so just the name. So some of the applications have GB app. Over here you can see GB HCM. So these might be some other OData components which is starting from GB. But most of them starts with SRA. But some of them might also have a name as GB, starting with GB as well. So it can happen. So whatever is the name that is given by SAP, you will have to install that particular component, search that particular component service marketplace, and just install it. You got the point?
Yes.
Okay. So this is one of the place where you can get good information about any of the Fiori application. Not only that, later on, now this is something which the Fiori consultant would be looking into it and then relaying to the basis consultant that this is the Fiori application that the customer is wanting, and these are some of the components that needs to be installed. So you will just forward it to the basis consultant. They will install it, and once they do that work for you, then you will use the other information, that is the configuration information, which is maintained over here, in order to configure the Fiori application. So first, you will strategize the architecture. So what all components, where all components would be required, what is the architecture that needs to be followed, that is, where should be the foundation component should be present. Either it should be an embedded one, or it should be a central deployment one. All that strategizing would be done by you. then the corresponding component names, whatever needs to be installed with the corresponding SP level, and the support and the notes needs to be related to the basis consultant. They will install it, and then once they do that work, then again the control comes back to you when you will have to do the configurations. So later on, when we start doing the configuration, we'll again use this part of information over here in order to do the configuration of this particular Fiori application. So as of now, we'll not touch this, we'll not touch the configuration related information, whatever is maintained over here. We'll look into that afterwards, but the system related information, or you can say the landscape related information for this particular Fiori application is definitely one thing which is properly maintained over here. The other place, and which is a very new place that SAP has specifically developed for the Fiori applications. Just 4-5 months back, they have come up with this library, which is called as the Fiori Apps Library. So when you open this particular Fiori Apps Library, which is purely meant for the Fiori application, this is another very good place where you can get good information of all the Fiori application in a very good way. I mean, in a very crisp way, very properly structured way. So let's see this particular reference library as well, where you can get very good information on all the Fiori applications. So you can search the application by the different filters over here, by lines of business, by industry, by roles, whatever the backend product. So as of now, let's click on by all apps. So it will show me all the apps which are available as of now inside the Fiori package. I guess it's somewhere around 577 the last time I checked. Let's see what is the number of application now. So it's the same 577. So let's say if I want to implement approve purchase order. So I'll just search that. So approve purchase order. I'll just click on that. And then you are able to see, the line of business, sourcing and procurement. The required backend would be SAP ERP. It's a transactional type of application, and database can be anything. Some of the product features is maintained over here, like what are the key features, some screenshot of the application, all of that is documented over here. Apart from that, there is one more tab called as the implementation information. Now the implementation information is categorized into 4 parts: installation, configuration, extensibility, and support. So the first part, before going ahead and configuring the application, where we would be using the configuration tab, as of now, we would be interested on the setting up the infrastructure. So we'll go on to the installation tab. So in the installation tab, you will see, the prerequisite for installation, the software component that you have to install, the prerequisite for installation. That is, it should, the front end, the gateway version should be 7.40 with SPS 08, or it should have the version SAP Gateway 2.0 SPS 09. Similarly, onto the backend, this is the software component that you have to install, and this is the prerequisite that you will have to take care of. Any one of that should be taken care of. And these are some of the notes which should be applied to your Fiori applications. So now there is one more thing, product version. We'll check out that afterwards. So what is this? This is a very important thing. Basically, this is a search term which you will use for downloading, or which the basis guys, which they will use for downloading that particular software, the product add-on. So this is not the way you will download the product add-on. You will just search this particular term in the service marketplace, and then inside this particular search term, there might be many product add-ons, and from there you will just select your particular product add-on. We'll see into that particular thing, but this is one of the places where you can get some crisp information. Later on, when we would be doing the configuration part, we would be using all this information maintained over here. A lot of information present over here. We will be using that, and then once the configuration is done, then we will be doing the extensions. Enhancing the standard application. The information of that is also maintained over here. So we will be using this particular thing as well for enhancing the standard Fiori application. But let's say you have some issue with this particular product and you want to raise a ticket. So the support ID that you're going to use is this, because when the basis guys they raise the ticket, they have to raise it against a customer. They have to raise it against a a support space, a support ID. This is the ID that you're going to use in order to raise any concern regarding to this particular application. So they can raise it against this particular component ID inside the service marketplace. Any questions onto this? Ramani, Isha, Niranjan?
No questions.
It's clear.
Okay. Okay, great. So then let's go back to our presentation. Okay, so which tools to use now? This is for sure that the basis consultants for every Fiori application, they will have to install some Fiori add-ons, or it can be onto the front end or it can be onto the back end. They will have to install some add-ons. So now, which tools the base guy should be using, which is recommended by SAP? So this component definitely would be downloaded from the service marketplace, or downloaded from the service marketplace, and then applying it to your system. You can do it in multiple ways, but so one of the ways is using the solution manager, and the other thing is the software update manager. So the reason for, why we are covering this particular thing, or the tools which should be taken care of by the basis consultant while implementing the Fiori add-ons, is that the reason for this is we are in a very highly, not necessarily volatile, but fast-moving area, and Fiori is evolving day in and day out. There are a lot of changes, there are a lot of support packs, there are a lot of patches coming in and day out, and in that context, it is important to have a set of tools which ensure that you are doing the right thing at the right time. Okay, just a moment. I'm getting a call. Just a moment, guys. Okay, so now Fiori is evolving, and there are a lot of changes that happens day in and day out. And in that context, there are a lot of SP levels, nodes coming in and day out. And in that context, it is important to have a set of tools for the basis people, so that they can ensure that they are doing the right thing at the right time. And this is where this software update manager, this toolkit, this comes in very handy. So the software update manager, for example, it basically facilitates NetWeaver-based application system updates, enhancement package updates, and installation of support packages, for example, in a single harmonized UI. So whatever might be this system, let's say onto the development server, onto the NetWeaver gateway, you want to upgrade a particular Fiori add-on. You want to apply a particular node to a Fiori add-on. So using a single harmonized UI, you can not only do the development server, but you can connect this particular software update manager or your solution manager to multiple systems, and using a single harmonized UI, simultaneously you can do the upgrades or you can do the enhancements on top of any of your systems, So this software update manager is shipped as a part of a tool set, as a part of a solution manager. So on top of solution manager, you have to install, you have to add this add-on of software update manager. So this is specifically very heavily used by the basis consultant in case of Fiori, which is very also recommended by SAP, in order to take care of the enhancement which comes in day out by the SAP for the Fiori application. So whenever there is any enhancement that is coming up, that has come up, any enhancement or any node that has come up for that particular add-on which you have installed, so a notification will pop up inside this harmonized UI of software update manager, which makes it very good to be used. Okay, so this is the recommended tool by SAP to implement the standard Fiori application for the to install the standard Fiori add-ons onto the Fiori infrastructure. So this is something the basis consultant should be using in order to implement the Fiori add-ons onto the SAP systems. So Niranjan has asked one question: do we use Java stack in Fiori landscape? No, Java stack is by default not required because NetWeaver Gateway is an ABAP stack, and on top of ABAP stack, you would be installing the UI, the gateway add-on, the GW core add-on. So Java stack is not required. It's purely ABAP stack. Okay. So let's move ahead. So from the service marketplace, you would be getting the add-ons. Okay. So how you would search the add-ons, or how the basis consultants would be searching the add-ons on the service marketplace. Let me just show you that, even though we would not be doing that, but just to give you an idea from the service marketplace of this thing, would be taken care of. Let me just open the service marketplace. So I'm opening the service marketplace. So over here in the software downloads, installation and upgrades. So the search term would be whenever, so you will not just be forwarding this particular information to the basis consultant, that is the UI add-on or the OData add-on that you need to install. But apart from that, you will also forward them this information, that is the product version, because this is the search term that they would be using in order to download the add-ons. Okay, just by searching this, they will not get the corresponding add-ons. So this is something that you will have to enter to get the add-ons. The Fiori ERP application X1 1.0. If I just copy this, let me just enter my service marketplace credentials. Okay, so this search term, I will just put it over here, and if I click on search, okay, so you can see Fiori ERP application X1.10, and if you just see inside this, over here you will see many add-ons, which might be covered inside this single bucket. So if you see our add-ons, we would be requiring this UI X01 EAP 100. This is what the basis concept will install, and the GBAP 002 600. This is how, just by giving the add-on name will not help actually. Along with the add-on name, you also have to give the product version name. Inside this product version, all the add-on, not only the UI but also the OData add-on would be present inside this. So then, once they click in the product, they type in the product version name, then inside that they can just drill down for the corresponding required UI and OData add-on from the service market. So whatever that is specified over here in the Fiori app reference library is very important. The product version, the software component version, the prerequisite for installation, and this is the minimum support package stack 06, which would be required for both of these components onto your Fiori landscape. Okay. So this is one of the places where you can get very good information, which is just recently released by SAP specifically for Fiori applications, keeping into mind the Fiori applications and the the fast-moving things that are happening in the Fiori world. So keeping into mind, they have developed this new repository wherein the things keeps on updating by SAP depending upon the updates that are happening in the different Fiori applications. You can just refer to this particular place and you can get all the crisp information. So we are later on when we would be using this, both of these places, that is the help.sap.com and the Fiori app reference library. We would be comparing both of them, later on. That is the configuration. For configuration, will require this. For extensibility, we would be requiring both of these places, and we'll see what are the basic differences between both of this information bases which is provided by SAP. Definitely, this is the new space which is SAP has developed specifically for the Fiori customers. This is something which is newly released by SAP. So coming back to our PPTs, this is what I've also mentioned over here. The URLs help.sap.com, where you can get some information in type of backend server configuration. So you will have to install the SRAs onto your backend. The deployment, you can use the solution manager, the software update manager, and the solution manager. Then installation, you will have to use this product version name in order to download the component from the service marketplace. So I've just it's shown you over here that for transactional application, the UI applications are collected under this particular thing. Similarly, for fact sheet, there might be this, again, this all information would be documented inside the app reference library or the help.sap.com for every Fiori application. You cannot remember this. For every Fiori application, there would be a product version. You can just find out the product version, forward it to your basis guys, so from there they can download it to the corresponding components. So that's it for the day, guys. So any questions up till now? Isha, Ramani, or Niranjan?
Do we have class tomorrow?
Sorry?
Do we have class tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow we'll have class at same time. This week we'll just have on Saturday and not on Sunday, and we'll just have for 1 hour because I have some other commitments. From next week on weekends, we can just bucket up a bit more. That is 2 to 3 hours, and we can complete it as fast as possible.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Any more concerns?
And Jigar, please send the video as well, because of my internet connection, maybe I would have lost something. So if you could please share, if you record it, if you have recorded it.
Okay, I will share it with you.
Jigar,
I guess even...
Yeah. Jigar, I need the video covering of the first session.
I have mailed you. Please check. Right now, I have mailed you. Before the session only, I have mailed you.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Okay then, guys. Let's meet tomorrow. Same time. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye. Good night.
Good night.